Everyone has those gloomy days that feel dull, gray, and incomplete. For elementary school students, there is one person they can always count on to uplift their spirits: their art teacher. At George Watts Montessori Magnet School, a step into Mrs. Barnes' art room takes your perspective from black and white to an animated spectrum of eye-catching color. Yet, out of all the colors in her room, it does not take long to notice the extraordinary saturation of one color in particular: purple. Her love for purple is overwhelmingly evident in everything from her clothes to her classroom, and she traces it all back to a reminiscent childhood story. As a child, she asked her mother to paint her room purple. However, as they lacked ownership of the home, she was told it was not possible. And in protest, with hands on her hips, she fondly recounts, she swore that when she grew up, she would dress in purple, have her own purple house and purple everything, and no one would be able to stop her. And for the past 45 years, she achieved this childhood dream, staying true to her word. As she entered the field of education, her students quickly caught on to her commitment to the rainbow's last color. They started to affectionately call her Miss Purple, and this new name held its ground for the past 30 years. Miss Purple always knew she wanted to be a teacher, ever since the 3rd grade. Her mother, who was her greatest role model, was an English teacher, and she believed that she would be one as well. However, she soon realized that her true passions fall in the arts. She started her art studies at East Carolina University as she aimed to balance schoolwork with caring for her first child. When she first started teaching, she worked for Durham City middle and high schools. In 1980, she shifted to elementary schools and was accountable for teaching part-time in 7 different schools due to the county's lack of art teachers. Gradually, from 1980 to 1995, she started to teach at fewer and fewer schools until she secured a full-time position at George Watts and has been committed to the school since. A typical school day for Miss Purple starts early in the morning with 3 bus rides to Watts. She arrives at the entrance at around 7:05 a.m. and heads down to her classroom after completing morning duty to prepare for the day. And just as her student Nate stops by every morning before class to share conversation, her students are quick to pour in to say their morning greetings as an important part of their daily routine. Her first class is with the pre-K and kindergarten students. She acknowledges that her straightforward nature and high expectations are initially intimidating for these young learners. This year, they worked on honing their skills and landscape drawings. While producing art may be a challenge, Miss Purple is sure to build a reliable foundation of support as she encourages collaborative efforts. She praises her students for often being better coaches in art, for they are more capable of empathizing with struggles as sprouting artists. She also offers consistent guidance to help every student achieve their greatest possible artwork. As she progresses through her day, she strengthens her relationship with her older students. She teaches each class at Watts for 5 consecutive school days before the students switch off to different specials classes, including physical education or music, in a 3-week rotation. This semester, her 1st to 3rd graders worked on animal illustrations and fundamental concepts such as shading and perspective. Miss Purple's 4th and 5th graders take on even more challenging projects, a notable one consisting of replacing the face of a famous portrait with their own. Miss Purple actively witnesses their growth, and it is evident that she has grown to become their friends. Another exciting project is the making of ugly jars, a clay piece that the students consider a rite of passage in their Watts art experience. Miss Purple finds beauty in these ugly jars, but there is no correct way in getting them right, just as art is a subjective form of expression. In this manner, Miss Purple explains that art naturally reflects the Montessori principle of student-directed learning. Her students are able to make personal choices in their artwork, whether it be the subjects of their drawings or the different colors they use to complete their piece. Miss Purple appreciates the Montessori approach to learning, for it fosters independence in children as it teaches them to become self-motivated through their learning journey. Nothing is better, she expresses, than seeing the light bulb go off in my students when they finally get it, and their understanding is reflected in their remarkable improvement. For Miss Purple, the growth in her students motivates her every day. Her dedication to her students is also reflected in her early years as a teacher. In the late 70s, she was involved in political activism and worked with the North Carolina Association of Educators to push for busing for integration across Durham County and Durham City schools. She fought for equal resources to be distributed to students learning in the Durham City schools, which were more likely to be underfunded and located in areas of lower socioeconomic status. Her love for her students also allows her to draw the best out of their artistic abilities. She enters student work to the North Carolina State Fairs, and over the years, they earned 7 first-place awards, along with noteworthy 2nd, 3rd, and 8th place titles. Through her long-term experience, she learned that teachers cannot reach their best potential without the incredible students to back them up. And after a full day of creative exploration, it is time to wrap up and head home. The students help Miss Purple clean up as they put up the chairs, a task that earns them extra credit points, which they enthusiastically record on the whiteboard, creating a system that tracks their efforts in actively helping the classroom. And as different students drop in to say goodbye to Miss Purple, she shares her final conversations of the day. Throwing on her purple coat and hat, she makes her way to the exit as she catches up with fellow staff members. But even then, she has her final round of goodbyes, waving to her students at the playground and making her way to the bus stop. Waiting for the bus, she reflects on her day. Her role as an art teacher is not a job, she says. With all her heart and soul, she believes that it is a calling from God to empower children with the freedom in art. Ultimately, her faith in God and her love for students is more than enough to renew her passion in teaching and to complete the colorful routine all over again.